Hello.
How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, my
Okay.
phone holder just took a shit on me. Hold
Oh
on.
shit. I see.
Ah, crap. Damn it.
I forgot you were 3 hours ahead. I thought you were two for a second, for a minute, and then I realized, oh shit. So,
You're Pacific time, right?
yep. Yeah, we're 3 hours. So, how's your
Okay.
day going?
Let me see if I can get this. Oh, it's going fine, dude. We're really, really happy.
You got sun shining over there too?
Yeah, our new album is definitely going to come out.
Cool. That's awesome.
We met our Kickstarter goal.
Good, good. I'm glad for that. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's way cool.
And man, the kind of promotion Cosmic Fire Records is going to do for us,
What's the name of your record company again?
Cosmic Fire.
Okay.
The promotion they're going to do for us is more promotion than we've had for all of our releases put together.
That's awesome. That's
He
cool.
said, the guy said that the PR team, their PR team, regularly works with bands like Wasp and
Oh, that's
Candlemass
cool.
and
That's
Hammerfall.
cool. That's cool. So that's good company there for sure.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
That's awesome. That is way awesome. So let's see. What was I going to ask you? This is part two, of course, because the other one got cut off, unfortunately.
That was bizarre.
I know that really. I was pretty pissed that night. I was really pissed because
I
it's
can imagine.
you
I can
know
imagine.
that's so unprofessional looking, and and I don't know.
But,
Luckily, I got good guests.
shit happens.
I know shit
Shit
happens.
happens.
Exactly. But yeah, but I got all that fixed now, and I'm happy about that. I got a buddy who's we're kind of partnering up a little bit. We're gonna do some, like promote, have some kind of media type thing, where we'll make videos or whatever, do the podcast and in it and shit like that. And he's been a big help. He's got a few bucks to help a lot on it, and he makes really good music too. But things are more dialed in now,
Having,
at least, you know.
having money is so important.
Oh, I know it is, and I hate it. I hate money. Money's the root of all evil, I think, or
And,
or part of it. But you have to survive. That's what does it. You
I
know.
look at it like it's terrible that art is dependent on money.
Yeah. Oh, totally. 100%. 100%. I agree. Because it's tough. There's some people out there, and luckily, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. Is I'm going searching for you guys, and I'm not a musician. I like to think I was at one point, but I didn't put any practice into it.
What did you play? What
I
did you
played
play?
I played the little guitar at first, but
Oh,
trying to learn how to play bass, right now. Because bass is my favorite instrument. Gene Simmons, that's what he plays, of course. Not that he might not be the greatest, but bass is the backbone and everything,
he's he's an underrated bass player, in my
Right,
opinion.
right.
Yeah, our bass player, our new bass player, well, not new, he's been in for over a year now, but he wasn't on the album.
Hmm.
Jensen Kozar, oh my God, that guy is a prodigy.
Really? Right
I
on.
mean, our songs are not exactly simple,
Right.
and he'd only been playing bass for a year, and he just went
That's
right through
cool.
them.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that the guy is well. He graduated with a music degree from Akron
Oh
University.
wow. Right on. Right on.
That guy is a true musician. Let me
Right
tell
on.
you what.
That's cool. That's way cool. Yeah, I met a I was searching, I was searching on Facebook for guests, and I got this guy named Timmer Blakely is his name. He's the president of the Cascade Blues Association over here on the West Coast here. And He plays for Paul Gilbert. He tours with Paul Gilbert when Paul tours, and he plays on his recording too. Um, you know who Paul is, right? From he was in
Paul
Mr.
Gilbert?
Big. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
He played this guy plays with him, and he plays a 5-string Warmoth bass. This huge thing, and he just like it's just crazy,
Yeah, we since we tuned down, we need any bass player who played with us had to play a 5-string.
Right, right. So you guys tune down on your music?
Yeah.
What do you tune down to? Drop D or something like that?
It's D standard and
Okay.
then drop C.
Okay.
Two different guitars.
Okay. Right on. Right on. That's cool.
Some songs are one, some songs are the other.
Right. And what do you play? You play guitar, correct?
Yeah, I play lead guitar. Yeah.
What kind of guitar do you play?
I have a couple Jacksons and I have a Diamond.
Oh, right on.
And that Diamond is it's a neck through body, and it is just a joy to play.
Right on.
The feel of that guitar is fantastic. Unfortunately, that guitar right now is not functional, but
right. That happens once in a while.
Needs a fix.
Right.
And
I've got a PB bass in here that I got to put a new tuning peg on the thing and fix that up there and tighten up the nut and shit like that in it. But it's fun. They're fun. I don't know a lot, but I'm trying. I play every day at least, for some amount of time at least, and so I'm learning a little bit. Huh?
You gonna try and jam with some people?
Well, I am a little bit. I have a little jam session here at my shop every couple of weeks or so. I try to get some people over and just let them go off, and I'll toodaloo with mine a little bit. But I didn't have an amp until last week. I finally got an amp for it. My buddy brought me his old one, so I can make some noise with it now.
That sounds fun, man. I haven't been to an open jam in a couple of years, but when I went, I had a blast.
Yeah, we have fun here. We got this guy out in this little town east of where I'm at named Jesse Lee Falls, and he's like a funky guitar player, funky blues, like Stevie Wonder type funk shit with blues, of course, and he's good. He's got a good voice too, and he is an amazing dude, and he helped on this thing so much. And he comes out and I got one guy who he plays really good. He shreds, but he's never played with anybody.
Really?
Yeah, he's never played with nobody. And so
there is an art to playing with other musicians.
Oh, I bet there is.
Completely different than playing on your own.
Oh, I bet.
You have to know them. If there's any mistakes, you gotta learn how to cover them and get back on track, and all that. Yeah, it's definitely a different animal.
Definitely. But this kid, he's came to a couple of them, and he's learning to play with Jesse and stuff. And I recorded. I tell everybody, I said, I'm recording it. If there's something real special in there, we'll talk about it, but I'm going to probably use it on the podcast for filler, a little filler stuff on there or something, or whatever, but
we had, these were two former members of AXEMASTER. We were taking a break at practice, and the guitar player started playing something that sounded like something Santana would do. And I had I didn't know what chords he was playing. I didn't know the key. I didn't know nothing. But I just jumped in and started playing Santana-like leads.
Right on.
And as it turned out, our drummer was recording it, and the recording came out really good. And I put it on my personal SoundCloud page and called it Axtana.
Right on. Right on. That's cool. Hell yeah. I love doing stuff like that.
It's a free jam. It's not perfect. There's some things like some of my leads end up out of key. I didn't even know what he was playing. I didn't know what scales to use, blah, blah, blah. So I just went with what I felt.
Right on.
And it's actually pretty cool. It drags a lot. I mean, listen to the first couple minutes, it's cool, and then after that, it kind of goes on and on. And but
that's cool.
Yeah, if you go to my SoundCloud, I think it's SoundCloud page. It'll be on there. And another thing that's on that SoundCloud page are a couple songs that I recorded when I was 18.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
And this is an interesting story. Back, I got the name AXEMASTER because when I was 14, that I used to get music magazines, and I got a copy of Circus. Do you remember Circus magazine?
Yeah, I remember all those. Circus Hit Parader, all those.
And one of the headlines on there read Pat Travers, the radioactive AXEMASTER. I'm like, I was 14,
Right.
and I'm
that's cool as fuck when you're 14.
AXEMASTER, that's a cool name.
Yes.
So when I recorded this little demo, I mean, a couple of the songs on it are actually fairly decent songs, but I recorded like 3 songs at a guy's 4-track little studio,
right?
And I did everything but play drums, or some of it doesn't have bass on it at all,
right?
But I took the songs, or what I did was I put it on a 46-minute cassette tape, and I was just giving it to my friends, but I wanted it to look like kind of a release, so I made a cover for it in Xerox.
Right on.
But I didn't want to just use my name. I wanted it to sound like it was a band.
Right.
So I remembered that from, a few years back, and I was like, hell, I'll use the name AXEMASTER.
Oh yeah.
And if you look on like Encyclopedia Metallum, it's there as the first AXEMASTER release.
Nice, that's fucking awesome.
And it's just, I mean, less than 50 of them were made.
Right. That's cool though.
And after that, me and the drummer that we had played together in a cover band briefly, we decided to do my originals, and we were thinking of all kinds of names. And we couldn't think of anything better than we liked better than AXEMASTER.
Right on.
And I remember, back then there was no internet.
Right.
So you couldn't, this was like 84.
Oh, wow.
So I remember going to a used record store that had a book like this thick that was just band names.
Right on. That's so cool.
And I went through it. I was like, man, somebody else has had to have used the name AXEMASTER. And I went through it. Nobody had.
Wow.
So it's like, all right, we're down. Let's just use that.
Hell yeah. That's great. That's like with the name of my show, Lessons from the Thank You Box. The thank you box is the garbage can outside the Sizzler restaurant on Canyon Boulevard in Beaverton, Oregon. And me and my cousin, we'd go up there with our moms, to school shopping and stuff, and we'd go to the Sizzler for a treat, meal. And first thing me and my cousin would do in there is go fake sneeze into the salad bar every time, and it was all more about comedy back then, but over the years, I was thinking of a name for this thing, and I'm going, well, what's a good name? I go, the Thank You Box. I started thinking about it, and like with, in every bit of garbage, there's a treasure there somewhere, is the way I look at things. People used to call rock and roll garbage.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's right. And people would call rock and roll trash or the devil's music back in the day, and shit. And it's like, okay, well, we got some pretty good trash in rock and roll. You know what I mean? It's the way I look at it.
One of the songs from the new album I wrote the words for is about that.
Right on.
It's about somebody who thinks that metal heads and the metal worldwide family are just a bunch of rejects, Satan worshipers, and pariahs to society.
Exactly.
And it's about taking one of those people and bringing them into the metal family and showing how wrong and
Right
hypocritical
on.
they are.
Exactly. Exactly.
The song's called "The Dark Side."
Right on.
Welcome to the dark side.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, my friend, like you were saying, with the name and stuff, I used to write lyrics in high school.
Yeah.
And I had notebooks full of lyrics. Well, my friend Tommy Kaiser, we did a lip sync video thing for a talent show at school when we were in 8th grade, and we were doing "Bringing on the Heartbreak." He's a short little guy who played an Explorer guitar, and all he had to do was get up on those little tiny tables at school, those little short table, round ones usually they are, but they're real low to the ground. All he had to do is just kind of hop up there, do his little solo thing. Well, he gets to it, and I know his toe caught the rim edge of it, and smack, down he goes. His guitar gets to the table, and I'm just going like, he fucked it up, And so I got a hold of him a couple of years ago, and we talked and stuff. I go, we're going to redo the video. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah. He goes, really? I go, yeah, really. You fucked it up then. You got to make good on it, bro. And so he's going to come out here, and I'm going to have him on the podcast, and we're going to lip sync to fucking Bringing on the Heartbreak. Make him play it. But
speaking of video, in 13 days, we're going to shoot our part of the first advanced video. Nice. From the new album of Beasts and Plagues. The song is "Murder of Crows," and we're going to be taking tons of shots of us playing the song, and then send that to Cosmic Fire, and and they're going to edit it and all that.
Sure.
I would imagine they'd use AI on filler.
Sure. Well, if you happen to get any shots while you're doing it, and you want to send a few our way, little snippets or something, you're more than welcome to do that, and I'll put them up there. I'll put whatever up there you need me to put up there. To help you guys out.
I probably would like to do that more when the video is released.
Sure. That's totally
because Cosmic Fire, I mean, they are pretty much treating this like a major label release.
That's awesome.
And so we have a lot of restrictions on what we do that we've never had before. Right. Because all the other record labels, I mean, they do a little bit.
Right.
But it was basically they would produce the album or CD, and then it's like, boop, you're on your own. We'll distribute it, But these guys are doing it properly.
Right on.
I feel like I've halfway hit the big time finally after 40 plus years.
Well, I know that I've been telling some people about you a little bit. I go, these guys are soldiers. They're soldiers. You've been around a long time with this thing, and I know.
And what's funny is our drummer is younger than my daughter.
That's cool. You got to have a youngster to keep in line there.
He's only like 24.
Wow, that's cool though. That's cool.
And actually, the whole band, the guys in the band are the best guys you'd ever want to meet.
Right on.
And I mean, that's part of practice is just having fun bullshit.
Well, yeah, that's what this thing is that I do. It's a good bullshit session is what my podcast is,
And the guy, and like when I had met Jensen, the bass player, we had jammed together and helped him learn the songs and things like that. And when he came to practice, I mean, there was no age difference in the way that everybody bonded.
Right.
He's just one of the guys. It doesn't matter what his age is.
Yep. I totally get that. I was always the young guy in the crowd too. I always hung out with the older people, So.
These guys are guys that I could I could tour with, be on the road with,
Right on.
and never get sick of.
Right on. Right on.
No arguments, no bullshit, no
That's cool.
egos.
That's cool. Yeah,
Everybody, all we care about is the music.
that's cool. That's
You
and
don't
that's what it
care,
should be about, you know.
I
Egos
mean,
get in the go ahead.
I get most of the like podcasts like this and things like that
Mhm.
because I formed the band,
Right, right. Totally.
but I always try to give everybody an opportunity to be a part of it
Sure.
when they're able. It's, schedules and things like
Mhm.
that interfere a lot,
All right.
but yeah, it's not about me. It's
Right.
about the brand and the
Right.
music.
Exactly. Exactly.
And when I get on here, I don't get on here to boost my ego. I get on here to boost AXEMASTER.
Exactly. 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 Totally. It's tough doing this type of shit stuff, and I know, yeah, I may not be a musician, but I understand that stuff a little bit, promoting yourself, pushing it out there, and it's a lot of work, I know with this.
Well, talk about a lot of work. I recorded,
Right,
other than bass and drums, I recorded,
right,
mixed, mastered
right.
this new album. I was working for over a year
Oh, I
to
bet.
try to find a label that would release this album properly. I mean, look,
Right,
I wrote them, they never got back to me.
right, right,
I wrote them again, they never got back to me.
right.
Yeah, things like that. And one of them was a Eclipse Records.
I've heard his
They
name.
wanted they wanted to release it. The president of and founder of Eclipse Records is the original guitarist for Megadeth.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. That's
And
cool.
he loved the album.
Right
He
on.
absolutely loved the album. But their model was, and he even reduced it like 3 times for us. We would have had to pay like $600, $700 a month for like 5 months to cover promo costs. And then right before we were going to sign the contract, I was talking to him on the phone, and he told me that they were not going to release CDs. They were going to make it an online album, and we're like,
Mhm.
we can't justify
No.
paying that kind of money to just have an online album.
Yeah, that's
So that went out the window, and I mean, I I've been so frustrated and
I
bummed
bet.
out this past year, but the wait was worth it
Right.
because what we got is like the most amazing amount of promo
Right.
that
That's
this
cool.
album is going to get. And man, I don't know if it's completely sunk in yet or not.
Right, right, right. That's cool though. That's way cool, because it's
When I get a box of CDs or boxes, because we're supposed to get 250 CDs,
mhm.
um, I think I'm going to do a Facebook Live when I unbox them and
You
hold that
should.
CD
You
in for
should.
the first time.
Fuck yeah, you should. Definitely, definitely, because that's a big deal. That's a big deal,
It's,
it just
I've had the artwork for the covers back and front for a long time.
mhm.
And you can see them on the computer screen,
It's different
but
on the
it's
computer. It's you know
different
to
when
feel
you
it.
see them on the screen.
Or rip that fucker out, Totally.
It's it's always cool. It's always mega cool. Like when I get shipments of, we did 2 CDs and a double vinyl with Pure Steel Records.
Mhm.
And they sent me 2 boxes one time that had like 35 double albums and 130 CDs.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I went in, and this was Crawling Chaos and
Mhm.
Blessing in the Skies and Other Cuts from the Chamber.
Mhm.
And when I went in and opened them up, especially the vinyl,
Mhm.
it was like, ah,
That's the real deal
you
there.
know, it's always a big deal when you first see a release.
Right.
But this one is going to be extra special because it's going to be backed the way
Right.
it should be backed.
Right. Right. Totally. Totally. That's awesome. When you get your CDs, let me know, and make sure you let me know, because I definitely will get one from you. Have you send
Okay,
me one,
cool.
have you autograph, have you sign it or something, if you guys would, maybe, and send it to me for sure. That'd be cool. I'll
I
have.
mean, I mean the campaign is still open.
Okay.
The Cosmic Fire campaign, even
Mm-hmm.
though we've reached over 101% of our goal,
Right on.
because if we exceed the goal by a certain amount, they'll put the album out on vinyl.
Oh,
It's
cool.
kind of a real unrealistic amount of money over the
Right.
goal.
Right.
But it's still open, and one
Okay.
of the things you could get on there is a signed CD.
That's
There's a
cool.
lot of different stuff on there.
Right on there. Right
A lot
on.
of different, you could just pre-order a CD, or you can get. I mean, we have autograph
Right
posters,
on.
shirts, patches. Um, what
Because I
else is
definitely
there?
want something from you guys to put on my little wall of fame over here, behind me and stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we have a cool poster of our, for want of a better word, mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Megadeth has Vic
Right.
Rattlehead.
Right. Right. Right.
We have Giovanni the Executioner,
Nice. That's awesome. That's cool.
and it's a poster of Giovanni.
Right on.
That has an axe that's a guitar too.
Right on. That's
It's
cool.
all bloody. Yeah, it's a very cool poster.
Right
Very
on.
cool.
That's cool.
We're gonna have to sign so many
Oh, yes, you
things.
are. But that's okay.
Well, I remember when we were with Azure Records in like '86,
Hmm.
they did a Shape Picture Disc single.
Uh-huh.
One song from the Blessing in the Skies album and another one recorded live.
Well, that's cool. That's
And,
cool.
they wanted 500 special edition autographs. So we had these little pieces of paper, white pieces of
Hmm.
paper that were about this big with the center cut for an
Right.
album.
Right.
And we had to sit there and each one of us signed 500 of them.
Wow.
I don't think it's going to be quite that bad,
Right.
but
That's a
you
lot.
know,
No, that's a lot.
yeah, sit there and sign your name
Reminds me of
500
writing
times.
sentences on the board in school. Or
So if
something.
anybody has the autographed copy of the Vision shaped picture disc single,
Mhm.
the autographs are authentic. They're not, I mean, and to collectors, that thing is now is selling for well over
Oh, I
$100.
bet. I bet. I
They're
bet.
they're they're rare.
Yeah.
She's a new copy of the album that we put out in '86, Blessing
Mhm.
in the Skies. If
Right.
you have a copy that's still shrink wrapped in mint condition, it'll get you well over $200.
Wow. That's
And
cool.
I keep sitting there thinking, if I'd have had any idea something of mine would become that valuable. Number one, I'm honored that something I
Totally.
did is that valuable. And
Totally.
number two, man, I would have saved back like 10, 20 copies.
Auction them off later when you need it or something, totally. But
Uh, Put them in a safety deposit box.
yeah, that too. My cousin, he lives in Wisconsin, and he's a guitar player, but he does construction over there now, and stuff. He did some work for this lady who had he had both his pickups and both his trailers, and he's got 12-foot long trailers. They did 2 loads each of getting these records out of this lady's basement that he was doing work on,
Wow.
And she says, Joe, just throw them away. And he goes, that isn't going to happen, And he took them all home, and he had found this one from this band, these two guys from Minneapolis called Catharsis. Have you ever heard of that thing? Them?
It
It was like
sounds vaguely
it's
familiar.
like from the early 70s, these guys did this record, and he finds out, he sees it, and so he looks it up, and sure as shit, it's worth like $1,200, if it's
Yeah.
mint. And he sold it to this guy for like $700. He put it
Uh,
online in like 10 minutes. This guy got a hold of him and said, I want it. Don't put,
well, when my late fiance died,
mm-hmm.
and I had to, just fend totally for myself.
Right.
I was looking. I really needed money, car payment,
Right. Right.
and I had all this vinyl that I had as a teenager,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
wow.
I sold most of it to a secondhand store and got like $400 for them, and they weren't anything rare.
Right. Right.
They were Ted Nugent, Double Live
Right.
Gonzo, and Foreigner 4, and
Right.
stuff like
Right.
that. But I got $400 for them,
That's
something
cool.
around that.
I took some records in one time to get some money myself, and one of them was a Sergeant Pepper's record, from
Oh,
the Beatles.
geez.
Well, I had the rest of the stack. The guy's looking at me, he's going, and I could see what his thoughts. That's shit. That's shit. That's shit. And then he goes, oh. That's exactly what he said. He goes, oh, and he pulls the sleeve out, and it had paper dolls in there, paper doll clothes in it from it, and it was like he goes, "I'm going to give you
Was
150."
that original?
Yeah,
Was that original to the album?
yeah. One of the recordings of the album, because there's different recordings, different places,
Yeah.
But this one had the paper doll things in it, and the guy, he went whoa, real fast, and he goes, "Oh, this is different. This is a whole new ball game now." And just because of that record, he ended up giving me $150 for it, and then like $100 in store credit on top of it. So
When speaking of that era of music,
mm-hmm.
I reach out to people on one of my Facebook pages, add friends that look like they'd be interested in AXEMASTER,
Right,
and if
right.
they are, I post the 10,000-pound hammer video
Right
with
on.
one of our that's been our signature song.
Right,
It's
right.
I mean, back in like 2016, 17, maybe it was 17. I heard from a very reliable source that around here there were people who didn't know the band name, and they were referring to us as the band who played 10,000-pound hammer. It's our iconic song.
Right, right.
I think it would have turned into a metal classic had it been promoted properly.
Right. Totally.
It has
Totally.
all the elements. It has the most killer hook of all time.
It is. I listened to it last night. I listened to your stuff
Oh,
last
you
night.
did? Okay.
Turned my buddy on. Showed my buddy who's gonna partner with me on some stuff. I go, gotta check these guys out. And I played that one. I played that other one. That first one. It was from like
the Madman?
Which one?
Oh, from the 80s?
Yeah. Yeah, the one where you got the guy there with the axes, at the beginning of it. God, let me.
It's probably Death Before Dishonor.
That might be it.
It's a recording not very good?
No, it's a video. Yeah, the video recording. Yeah, it's definitely not the greatest recording.
Yeah, because that album was recorded on multiple 4-tracks. We didn't have the money for a studio.
Right.
The first, it would be like Carnival of Fear or Heart of the Damned. Those are the 2 songs I think that are on our YouTube channel.
Okay. Let's see. I think it was Death Before Dishonor. I'm thinking.
Oh, the song. Okay.
Yeah,
that
song.
turned.
Let's see. Slave to the Blade.
Oh, that's from our album Blessing in the Skies.
Yeah, Slave to the Blade.
That's from 86.
Okay.
The reason that was recorded 100% professionally, but the reason that the video sounds like it does is because back in the 80s I recorded it on video cassette.
Right.
And then transferred it over to digital, and in all that process, it lost a lot of quality in both audio and video.
Right.
but it's it was an important part of our history because
Definitely.
before 10,000 Pound Hammer, our signature song was Slave to the
Right.
Blade, all the way back from '86.
Right. That's cool though. No, it was great. It brought me back to the 80s. You know, I there's a few bands out there. Have you heard of Culprit?
No.
Band called Culprit. Well, they're mostly
Is it
West
spelled
Coast.
with a K? Is it
Huh?
spelled with a K?
No,
Is
with
it
a
spelled
C.
with a
With a C.
Oh, okay.
These guys they've been named as major influences to Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. They both recognize these guys
Oh,
as major influences to them and stuff. And they've been around a
interesting.
long time, like you guys have. And he, I saw him on Facebook, so I jumped, because those guys are like bucket list type shit for me, and they're up there with like Kiss and stuff, and that's what I told him to sell him on it. I go, listen, you guys are like bucket list shit to me. And and I've already met Gene Simmons. He goes, okay, I'm down, right after that. Good compliment to him. But then he says, you want to hear something?
Well, Kiss is the reason that I started getting into hard rock and metal, and the reason I started playing. Well, I started out playing bass and then switched to guitar. But it's the reason that I wanted to be a musician. I
Yeah.
wanted to be in a band like that.
Yeah, totally. That was the first piece of music I discovered after my mom played the best of Bread on 8-track for like 2 years straight, which
Yeah,
drove me mad. It drove me nuts.
my mom would get these K-Tel compilation
Oh yeah,
albums in
yeah.
the
You were telling me that. That's awesome. Those were
yeah.
awesome. That was
Yeah, and
cool.
that's where I discovered Kiss. And then I had my mom get me Kiss Alive 1, and I was
Oh
hooked.
yeah, yeah. I was, I went to my cousin's house and he's playing Iron Man on the top two strings of his guitar because those are the only strings he had on him, on it, playing
Oh,
Iron
okay.
Man.
Well, that
But
limits the options.
right, but we're listening to Black Diamond by Kiss, and he's got
Oh,
it up
yeah,
loud,
what a riff.
and I'm like going, that was it. I knew that was the right direction to go, was with that direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I love those
Alive,
guys.
the version of that on Alive, I jam the hell out of it in my car to this day.
Yep, yep. I love Kiss. Everybody, anybody in rock and roll or music who wears makeup owes them a big thing of gratitude.
Oh,
First off,
absolutely. But
and
they started doing it because of the New York Dolls.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, those guys are awesome. I read that book they had about it's from like 71 to 75 or 72 to 75 before they blew up, and how they're putting on their own tours because everybody wanted to hire them, because they
Yeah,
outplayed their show was way better than the headliner show, for sure.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I actually saw a documentary about that not too long ago.
right on, right on. Yeah, I love those guys. Those guys are definitely my favorite. And
Oh,
I
they're
didn't
not
know
my
it.
favorite.
Uh,
They're not my favorite anymore, but
who's
I
your
still
favorite?
love a lot of their music.
Who's your favorite?